Welcome to Spokane Talks, where you'll find the latest in news, views, and conversation. Spokane Talks is sponsored by Creative Music Learning Center and River Ridge Hardware. Now it's time to hear what Spokane is talking about. Welcome to Spokane Talks on Fox 28. I'm Kent Adams. A couple of segments I think you'll enjoy today. The first one is an opportunity I had the other day to sit down with Tom Sawyer and Chris Pitotti from Tom Sawyer Country Coffee. And they're the owners there, and they do a great job, and we'll talk about their operation. Next is Miranda Reed, who is the new host of Youth Spotlight, and she chats with Trevor from Hutton Settlement. He's got a fascinating story. And then the last segment will be Matt, who's going to come from our Business Talks program and talk about LLCs with an attorney. Next on Spokane Talks on Fox 28.
Here at Creative Music Learning Center, we are dedicated to your learning no matter where you are on your journey. Whether you are a beginner, a casual player, or need some brushing up on technique, we are here for you. When you begin lessons with us, our teachers take the time to understand what kind of learner you are and how we can help you further your knowledge, offering a variety of instruments including piano, guitar, voice, violin, and more. We are here and ready to get started with you.
Here at River Ridge Hardware Garden Center, where we have all the plants and flowers that will spruce up your yard, from the lilacs for Spokane's Lilac City to awesome hanging baskets and pots that you can actually put the hanging baskets in. Here at River Ridge Hardware, we want to help you set up your landscape needs. Neighbors helping neighbors at River Ridge Hardware.
Well, I'm pleased today to be at Tom Sawyer Country Coffee, where we'll be doing some interviews. And I'm pleased to have Tom Sawyer.
How are you? Yeah, let's
great.
make this even.
All right. And Chris Pitotti.
Very good, and welcome, Kent.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Tom, around here, you're the old guy.
I'm senior bean.
Yeah, senior bean.
Junior bean.
Senior bean counter.
Junior
But you've been in the coffee business for longer.
58 years.
58 years. I was going to say longer than I've been married. Okay, 52 years. So you.
Well, I got you beat on that one then too, because I've been married almost 60.
Oh, well, let's have a moment of prayer for your wife. Okay. No, I'm kidding.
No, don't kid.
No, okay. I hope she likes coffee.
She likes Tom.
She likes me.
Okay,
Every once in a while I catch her with a cup of coffee.
Okay.
And then, what in the world are you doing, Sandy?
Yeah, that's great. I love it. I love it. You guys are fun. You started off, if I remember right, at about age 19.
19.
Jumping into...
Working on 99 now.
Yeah. And tell me about how you got into this business, because
that
was a long time ago.
It was really accidental. I just went down to a company that I had a cousin working there, and I thought, of course, I think I'm going to go see if they might have an interest in hiring me.
Okay.
Doggone, they did. And that was the start of the business, yeah, and they adopted me. And really taught me most of what I know and still apply to them.
Really, because you learned the basics. The true basics of how to do it all, right? Yeah, and that really doesn't change.
No.
Yeah.
And it was a quality company that insisted on quality.
Okay.
And that taught me a lesson in life too.
That's great.
Don't hedge.
No.
Go with the best.
Right.
Well, it really was, it was Tom's character. He just became a sponge. He was thirsty to learn as much
He is
as
a character, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
right.
You knew I was going to do that too, didn't you? Yeah.
I'll set you up all day long.
I know you
yeah.
did. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think
But
you set
really,
me up, yeah.
certainly, without his willingness to learn
Yeah.
and to absorb all of the information that they were giving him.
Yeah. Are you learning a lot from him?
Yes, absolutely.
And your son works here too.
Right.
So,
yes.
yeah.
Lucas is Tom's apprentice.
Okay.
He's not a bean yet.
Not a bean yet. Okay. All right. Well.
Just a
okay.
sprout.
Just a sprout. Okay. Well, we're going to take a break, but I want to hear from you next, Chris, because you came from a whole different corporate world into this, and this is all new to you for the last 5-6 years. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back and talk right after this.
Here at Creative Music Learning Center, we are dedicated to your learning no matter where you are on your journey. Whether you are a beginner, a casual player, or need some brushing up on technique, we are here for you. When you begin lessons with us, our teachers take the time to understand what kind of learner you are and how we can help you further your knowledge, offering a variety of instruments including piano, guitar, voice, violin, and more. We are here and ready to get started with you.
Here at River Ridge Hardware Garden Center, where we have all the plants and flowers that will spruce up your yard, from the lilacs for Spokane's Lilac City to awesome hanging baskets and pots that you can actually put the hanging baskets in. Here at River Ridge Hardware, we want to help you set up your landscape needs. Neighbors helping neighbors at River Ridge Hardware.
Well, we're still here at Tom Sawyer Country Coffee, and Tom Sawyer and Chris Pitotti. Did I do it right again?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Keep practicing.
I think that's like 4 times today.
right.
Okay. All right.
You
That's
get the gold
it
star.
for the rest of from now on. It's strictly Chris. Chris, you joined with Tom here in the business and so forth about what, 5-6 years ago, right?
About 5 years ago.
Yeah.
left
You came
banking.
from banking.
Yes.
Now that is, talk about a bean counter. Oh, you knew, yeah. You went from the corporate world, literally, and there's probably not anything more corporate than banking, okay? From that into this, whole different lifestyle, whole different freedom, whole different opportunity for you. Why the
Yes.
change?
Well, Tom is absolutely, he's the main reason.
Yeah.
There's just, you can't talk about the coffee industry without mentioning Tom
Yeah.
Sawyer Country Coffee. He's a
Yeah.
legend. So there was a big draw there, absolutely. And then the transition from banking to coffee. You already brought up the bean thing. I can't use the bean counter
Yeah.
part, but those skills that I learned in the banking industry really transferred over really smoothly into the coffee business.
Okay.
Really, it's about people and just dealing with people. And you have a wonderful product. In the banking industry, I sold money. I sell coffee beans here.
Right.
And they're both wonderful things to
You
work
know,
with.
my
So-
observation today, because we've been here a couple hours doing several programs, is everyone seems to know you two. When they come in, you're friends with everybody. They're like family coming to have a cup of coffee with you. And that really is how you welcome everybody, isn't it?
This is just like coming to somebody's home.
Yes.
You're welcome all the time.
Yes.
Doors open. If you're running late, call ahead and we'll leave the lights on like another guy on the radio.
Another Tom.
Yeah, another Tom.
And truly, we're always looking for more friends.
Yeah.
So if you've not been down here to Tom Sawyer Country Coffee, certainly come. We'd love to make you feel welcome.
Yeah, and you moved from bean counting, if you will, and roasting down south of here to Kendall Yards. You're kind of the west end of Kendall Yards and so forth. Why this location, Tom?
Well, when we first started, I thought I could just fool around out in Hangman Valley and had an
Yeah,
1,800
but-
square foot shop. Thought I'd work a couple days a week and that was it.
Yeah, right.
Too many customers keep finding us.
Oh.
And then Kendall Yards is just a fantastic
Yeah.
place to be alongside of. And Jim and Joe Frank that started this were very helpful in getting us started here
Great.
in these two buildings. So
Yeah,
it's just a great opportunity.
It is. It's a great location, and we're proud at Spokane Talks to serve exclusively Tom Sawyer Country Coffee. So we appreciate that very
Thank
much.
you.
And thanks for having us here today.
Oh, thank you.
We appreciate it. Thanks for watching.
Here at Creative Music Learning Center, we are dedicated to your learning no matter where you are on your journey. Whether you are a beginner, a casual player, or need some brushing up on technique, we are here for you. When you begin lessons with us, our teachers take the time to understand what kind of learner you are and how we can help you further your knowledge, offering a variety of instruments including piano, guitar, voice, violin, and more. We are here and ready to get started with you.
Here at River Ridge Hardware Garden Center, where we have all the plants and flowers that will spruce up your yard, from the lilacs for Spokane's Lilac City to awesome hanging baskets and pots that you can actually put the hanging baskets in. Here at River Ridge Hardware, we want to help you set up your landscape needs. Neighbors helping neighbors at River Ridge Hardware.
Next is our new host of Youth Spotlight, Miranda Reed, and she interviews Trevor from the Hutton Settlement, a recent graduate of West Valley High School, and you'll find out what they're doing out there and what Trevor's doing at Hutton Settlement as well.
Welcome to Youth Spotlight. I'm Miranda. I'll be your new host, and today we are with Trevor from the Hutton Settlement. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Pretty good, pretty good. So tell me a little bit about the Hutton Settlement and what you did there.
So the Hutton Settlement is a children's home located in Spokane Valley, Washington. It's a 319-acre campus. It's been around for 100 years now this year. And it focuses on bringing kids in from the Spokane and neighboring places to help nurture kids to grow up from the ages of 5 to 18.
Okay, and then so at the Hutton Settlement, what kind of did you do there, and what do you hope to do in the future?
So I lived there from about 10 years ago. Or about 10 years, and then I recently left and then came back, and currently I'm an alumni living in the dorm there. And I was working on numerous programs there: gardening, farming, woodworking, outdoor adventures. Everything that they offered I pretty much took because there was so much opportunities.
For sure. And then you are a few credits away from getting your AA to go to either Oregon State or WSU?
Correct.
Okay, and then you're going to use that degree in ag to go back to the Hutton Settlement, right?
Yeah, hopefully I'll still start systems at the Hutton Settlement right now, which I'm planning on. We're actually on some of those soon. But as for full-time working there, I'm hoping that I can get my degrees and then eventually work there.
Okay, that is great. So what was your motivation to go back to the Hutton Settlement?
Kind of have to give back because it's just such a great place to give back for everything they did to me. They helped me through numerous different things and had so much opportunities. And it's a place that's been around for 100 years, so I wanted to do my part there as a part of its history and help the kids there that are going to be there in the future. Because it's not just about me, it's about everyone who's been there and everyone who's going to be there.
For sure. And you said that there was about 32 kids currently there.
Correct.
What is kind of your favorite thing about the Hutton Settlement?
Just the community, I would say, is my favorite thing about the settlement because everyone who's there is there to care for you. Everyone is there to help you. Everyone's family.
That sounds super cool. I've never really heard much about the Hutton Settlement, but I definitely think that it's a great organization, and it looks like it's done a lot for you. So you just recently got back from an internship. Tell us a little bit about that.
So I was at an internship in Port Townsend. It was a farm internship. I was there from June to October, and I did everything there from farming, gardening, taking care of animals, building things.
Super cool. Okay, well, we are going to take a break, and we'll be right back, and we'll hear more about your internship. Welcome back. We were talking to Trevor a little bit about his internship. So tell us a little bit about how you got the internship.
So I found the internship when we were doing expeditions in that area of Port Townsend. We were backpacking along the coast with a group of us from the Hutton Settlement, some of the kids and some of the staff, and we toured the farm on the way back, or they did at least. I was working at that time, but everyone thought Trevor when they were at the farm. So I came back there with my application and met with the family that lives there and everything like that, and then I got the internship and went for it.
That's super cool. So you also recently just got an award, right? What was that?
Correct. So I got my gold medal Youth Congressional Award. I got the highest one, which is the gold medal, and I achieved that by completing 400 hours of voluntary service, 200 hours of personal development service, 200 hours of physical fitness, and led an expedition of 4 nights and 3 days, I believe.
And how hard was that to get that for you?
Some of it was harder and some of it wasn't. A lot of the things I was already doing, I started this my junior year as well, and I could have started it my freshman year. So you have 4 years to get it. I took 2 because I didn't know about it until my junior year. But like the physical fitness was pretty easy. Personal development was easy because that's just holding a job and things like that, taking care of yourself. And then the voluntary service is definitely the hardest one to get because there's 400 hours of it. But through opportunities at Hutton, I was able to get it all done.
Wow, that sounds like a blast. And so you went to DC to get the medal, right?
Yeah, so I went to DC with some people from Hutton who wanted to see my achievement, and while I was in DC, I got the award, met with a whole bunch of other youth that got the award as well. And then I also but I saw the museums there as well. A lot of the history and the things there.
Super cool. So coming up, there's something pretty cool happening at the Hutton Settlement. Tell us about that.
Correct. So we're having our annual tree farm. It's going to start right after Thanksgiving and go until mid to late December, right before Christmas starts. And we're going to be selling trees. We do this every year. Trees are a good price. You get a good community, and you're supporting a great cause.
And you're working at the tree farm?
I will be working there. I worked there while I was at Hutton from 7th grade up. And I was a junior manager last year, and I'll be a manager this year, coming back as an alumni. And it's one of my favorite seasons. It's a really good environment out there. I'd recommend everyone goes and checks it out.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun, and it sounds like a super great organization to support, especially coming on the Christmas season with Christmas trees. That just sounds like a blast. Do the residents help with the trees as
the
well?
residents have an option to help with the trees. A lot of them do, and some of them don't. There's different interests with different people. But they do work there, yes.
That sounds like a lot of fun. Well, thank you so much for talking to us about the Hutton Settlement and about all the great things you're doing on our community. And thank you, everyone, for watching.
Matt Kaufler, host of Business Talks, sits down with an attorney today to talk about the LLCs, what they mean, how to form them, what impact they could have on your business. Next.
Welcome to Spokane Business Talks. I'm Matt Kaufler. My guest today is Dan Watkins. He is a partner at the law firm of Lee & Hayes, and we're going to be talking about the formation of businesses from an intellectual property perspective as well as a legal perspective. Dan, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
You know, most attorneys start off with the legal preparations for a business. You take a different approach. You start on the intellectual property side. Tell us a little bit about your approach to doing that.
Yeah. So a lot of times these companies, especially startup companies, if you don't have something that's protectable, then it might not even be worthwhile to invest your time and money into starting a business. Right. And in today's age where, we're in a knowledge-driven economy, intellectual property is the single most valuable asset class of today's economy. Sure. And so once you realize that to be in the game and to compete against other companies and to have a sustainable advantage against your competitors requires you to have something that's protectable as far as intellectual property, it makes sense to let's talk about that. Let's just talk about that first.
Yes.
And talk about the 4 buckets of IP: patent, copyright, trademark, trade secret, what applies to your business, and how we can help you create that sustainable advantage.
And within patents, my understanding is there's essentially 2 patents, right? Talk a little bit about those.
Yeah, so there's utility patents and then there's design patents. Most people, when you talk about patents, think about utility patents. It's the useful inventions that solve a problem, right? So in order to be patentable on the utility side, it has to be useful, novel, and non-obvious. Design patents they protect the look of something, okay, the unique look, and for especially companies that are in consumer products industries, you ask the question of why would someone buy my product over someone else's? Well, sometimes it's because it looks cooler. It's a sexier design. So then, in that case, you're looking at a design patent and want to get protection in that way.
Terrific. We're going to take a pause there, and we'll be right back after a short break. Welcome back to Spokane Business Talks, where our guest is Dan Watkins. Dan, we were talking about intellectual property, in particular on patents. Talk to us a little further about the protection, the protections they afford and so forth.
So for utility patents, it's again the useful aspects. It has to be novel, has to be new, right. Okay, and non-obvious, and so it's like how things are made, for instance, or how things work. These days it's like artificial intelligence. How do we overlay AI on certain things and those type of things? And then designs, they again protect the look of something,
Right.
and in that regard, so you enforce your design patent against someone who's creating a product that looks like yours, and so that's really the key for design patents.
So with patents, they don't necessarily give you the right to do something. It's essentially to block out others,
right.
From
Yeah, exactly.
doing-
I mean, it's
yeah.
a huge misconception
Yeah.
for patents. One of the main misconceptions is, I have a patent, now I can go make my thing.
Yeah.
But in reality, your patent does not give you the right to make or sell your invention. It gives you the right to exclude others from making or selling
Okay.
your invention. So even though you might actually have a patent on your invention, you might actually be infringing someone else's patent by making your invention or your product, which is kind of mind-blowing even for sophisticated business people. Another main misconception for in the IP world is ownership.
Yes.
Everyone assumes if I pay someone to do something for me, I'm going to own it. Well, that's not always the case. So you think of like even creating a website, or say you're creating software. I'm starting a business, it's relying on software, but I'm not a coder. I need to hire a coder to create the software. If I pay that person to create the software for me and I don't have a written agreement, all I have is a license to the copyright, the code. I don't own it. You have to have an agreement that says that you own it. Under copyright law, the creator actually owns it. So if I gave you my phone and I said, take a picture of me with my phone, and I even tell you how to take it and hold it, you actually own the copyright simply because you push the button. It's a picture of me with my phone and no creative juices coming from you. And so that's a really big misconception in the IP world, and it's something we deal with probably weekly is IP ownership issues.
With the time we have remaining, to get to the essence of corporate formation, as I say, there's essentially two roads most people go down. Either they form an LLC or a C Corp.
Yeah.
Under what conditions do you advise one versus the other?
Yeah. So LLCs are mostly appropriate for closely held businesses. It gives you supreme flexibility. They're usually the entity of choice to start out with. But if a company is going to attract outside investment and take on outside investors, sell stock in their company, which, by the way, you need to consult an attorney before you do that. Normally a corporation is the path to go because there's corporate formalities that must be in place for a corporation, like a board of directors, and there's shareholder protections and those type of things. So normally that's the world that I live in, is either an LLC, mostly for closely held stuff, or a corporation, mostly for emerging growth type minded businesses.
Terrific. Well, Dan, I want to thank you for being a guest on our show today. It's been very informative. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you
Appreciate
for
it.
having me.
And thank you for joining us on Spokane Business Talks.
Cindy Haval is a freelance columnist and correspondent for the Spokesman Review and author of War Bonds, Love Stories from the Greatest Generation. The view from her porch is usually sunny.
Our cat Thor is the most patient and tolerant feline I've ever met, with one notable exception, his annual vet visit. Thor hates car rides and lets his tummy, or more accurately, his bowels, express his displeasure. I won't elaborate, but let's just say on a hot day, if the car windows are rolled up, we can still smell the lingering after effects of his reaction. Not enough Febreze in the world. I discussed the dilemma over a lengthy happy hour with girlfriends, and we all agreed pet diapers were the only solution. Unfortunately, all they had in Thor's size were pink gingham checked with small roses. Grimly, I showed the package to Thor. He seemed indifferent, but my teenager was horrified. "Don't do this to him. I'm begging you," he implored. Here's the thing about diapering cats. They're really slippery, and they have no waist. As soon as I wrestled the pink indignity onto him, then Thor would slip right out of it. We went through 3 diapers before I finally gave up. If my husband hadn't hidden the duct tape from me, it could have worked. And there went $15. Thankfully, the appointment and the car trip went well, but the vet recommended that Thor get some more exercise, so I purchased a cat leash and a harness. You spent money on that, my teenager scoffed. Teenagers can be so skeptical. I handed him the leash. You're now in charge of walking the cat. Turns out Thor loves the outdoors, but as my teen points out, you don't walk Thor, he walks you. And that's the view from our front porch.
Thanks for watching Spokane Talks on Fox 28. See you next week right here.
Spokane Talks is about you. Give us your feedback and comments at info@SpokaneTalksMedia.com. Spokane Talks is everywhere you are. Find us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and SpokaneTalksMedia.com. We'll be back next week with the latest news, views, and conversation. Please join us.